The Deep Slant 101 presented by Xfinity. Joining me this week, Cullen Gillaspia, year 2 fullback and special teams phenom right here. He's live in studio. Cullen, how's it going? Year 2 for you. I haven't had a chance to really catch up with you much this offseason, but here you are. How has this season been going for you, especially now that you're not a rookie anymore?
It's definitely great to not be a rookie. It comes with a little more privilege, a little bit longer of a leash. But, the mindset really hasn't changed. Every day I'm here to earn my job, and I'm just really trying to do anything I can to keep myself on the field and help this team in any way possible.
Well, this offseason, Bill O'Brien said he had a lot of high praise for you, and he said that what you bring to this offense, the versatility that you bring, with all that, perhaps you may earn a more prominent role on offense this year, that we may see you in more personnel groupings just because of all the different things you can do on the field. I would imagine that is exciting to hear when you learned of this heading into year 2.
Yeah, it's definitely it's always good to hear the head coach talk good about you, of course. But it's definitely been in training camp. I was sidelined for a little bit, but starting to work back in now and starting to work back in with the offense. Again, I take reps anywhere I can get them, and want to be as a part of this offense as much as I can. But at the end of the day, it's just about doing my job and doing what's asked of me. But like you said, I heard that as well, and it's always good to hear the head guy talking good about you. So.
Well, he said you learned a lot your rookie year, and it's hard to believe that you really this is only your 3rd year playing fullback. You played your final year at A&M, and then obviously last year. But when you go from college football to the pros and playing fullback, what do you think was the steepest part of the learning curve for you? What was the toughest thing for you to really adjust to?
Really just kind of learning everything going on around me, learning the offense as a whole and not just, specifically what I was doing. My last year at A&M, I kind of had to memorize, what I was doing on each specific play and not really know what was going on around me. I kind of had to hit the ground running, but going into last year, then having another off season under my belt and really getting to learn the offense better, you definitely feel more comfortable in a fullback role and feel more comfortable, of what's going on around you. And when what the offensive line's doing, what the quarterback's doing, what the running back's seeing, it's easier to be on the same page and really flow better with the offense.
Yeah, and you mentioned the off season and building some chemistry with the O linemen. I know that you worked out at was it Martin's Gym, Martin's Fitness?
Martin
with
Fitness,
Nick Martin. Yeah. What was that like, working out with a bunch of O linemen? Was that part of your off season plan, was just to work out with the big guys?
Definitely not part of my off season plan, but it ended up working out. I got really strong. Obviously, when you're in the gym with Nick Martin, Max Sharping were the 2 guys I generally worked out with every day. It's they're obviously a lot bigger than me, but I'm not going to be the guy who's not putting the weight on the bar. So you're kind of forced to try and use their weights and keep up with them. And so it was hard at first, but I kind of started to find my stride and really start to get stronger. So I'm not necessarily against doing it again next year.
Okay, if Martin's Fitness is open for business, I think you're a returning customer. Oh, okay, good.
I'll be knocking on the door at 7 a.m. Hey, open up the garage.
Good to know. You know where he lives, so that helps. Everyone knows your story about the 12th man. Maybe you're sick of talking about it. I'm never sick of hearing about it. It's such a great story. And I think a lot of people need to know that you are now an Emmy winner, because the documentary Gilly won a Lone Star Emmy Award. Congratulations, first and foremost, on that. That was a production. That. Yeah.
It was. I mean, sure, you can claim that I won an Emmy. I don't think I did too much. I think the Emmy definitely goes to Texas Filmworks and TexAgs as well. And then one of the main producers in Clay Taylor. He worked with me every day. Really, it was kind of like his project baby, because he really wanted to make it well. He started at doing social media stuff for A&M and then doing the Pulse, which I think as well won an Emmy Award. So I knew he was going to do a good job with it. Knowing my story was in his hands, I was really excited to see the finished product, and it honestly turned out better than I could imagine. And now I guess I can add that to my resume. I am an Emmy Award winner. But again, it wasn't me. I wasn't acting. I was just kind of up there talking on screen. I think it goes out to Clay, Texas Filmworks, and TexAgs, and all the people involved in making that film. They did a great job.
Yeah. How did it even come about? Because I do remember when the Texans drafted you, you were sitting there with all your family and friends, and there were a lot of cameras. And I thought, this is not your normal camera setup. Yeah, there were some beautiful professional photos. And I found out later that they were filming a documentary on you, but it seems like it had been going on a while. So when did they first approach you? At what point in your career did the filming and all that start?
It started around when I was in combine training. They had contacted my dad, and a couple of the guys who worked at TexAgs had contacted me and hey, this is something we were interested in doing. So going forward, once I kind of went back to A&M for Pro Day, they really started all the filming right there, because I was there for about 2 weeks doing workouts and other stuff. So I went back and they started getting, B-roll footage there, and then really kind of did a lot of the interviews leading up to the draft. And then they were there at the draft, which is, like you said, your typical 7th round pick or possible free agent doesn't normally have cameras and all types of stuff going on at the party. So it was a little different. But in the end, I'm glad they were there to document it all. It was a great day, and I'm glad that they got to capture it all on film and kind of, really put my story together. And it's great that other people are watching it, but just for me, to show my future family one day, this is what I did, or hopefully I'm not still living in the past, but maybe, I can show them. But no, so they filmed up to there, and then they came into the facility after one day over the summer and got a little bit more footage. But it was a really cool process, and getting to see how a film like that is made, of all the things you do talk about and all the things they film, and then it gets compressed down into 20 minutes and what they do put in and don't put in. It was kind of cool to see the behind the scenes look of it.
Did you enjoy the whole process? Was it fun? Some people like the cameras following them around, and other people get kind of annoyed by it, but you seem so comfortable talking. I mean, you seem so, I mean, I feel like you are a very outgoing person, but
the camera loves me. No,
did you like was it fun? Did it get old after a while? Because you were in a really crazy time in your life preparing for the NFL draft and getting drafted.
I mean, I've never really been shy around cameras. Normally if someone puts a camera in my face, I'm going to do or say something stupid. So it wasn't too big of a deal. And it really helped that the people who were filming me and conducting the interviews, I had known for a really long time. So they were really able to capture, who I am as a person, and being able to put funny stuff in there. And there wasn't an awkwardness, which sometimes whenever you're dealing with people you don't really know, who are getting you on camera for the first time, you can't really express your personality or show who you really are. So, it was definitely a little bit nerve-wracking knowing that I was on draft day, that if I didn't get drafted, that, that was going to be on camera too. So I was going to have to, kind of control myself and keep it together, and they were going to get all that on film. But it ended up working out. And like I said, the people who did it just did such a good job. And really, I was glad to be able to share that experience with them and everyone who's watched it.
There were two parts that I really liked. There was one where I think you were doing a radio interview with Billy Lucci, and you told him to take out and as a radio host, we go through this sometimes where players I didn't like how I said that. And the part that you told him to take out, do you remember that you said, take out the part where you were saying to go to the Houston Texans would be a dream come true, because you just didn't want to seem like you had all your eggs
Correct.
in that
I didn't want another team to see that interview and be like, oh, so you didn't want to play for us. And obviously I would have been happy anywhere I went, but growing up in Houston, going to Texans games my entire life, and being a fan of the organization, I mean, you can't help but, root to go play for your hometown team. But that was the point. I was like, yo, I don't know when this is being released. I don't know who's going to hear this. Let's go ahead and cut that from the interview.
I love that they
3 days before draft day.
Oh, but I love that they put that in there, because when you know the whole story and how it ends, it just makes it just seems so authentic. Your genuine excitement for coming to Houston. The other part I loved, and I think this should be a spin-off documentary, is your mom and all the stories that she tells, because she was talking about how you were redshirted for kindergarten because she had to stay back. I mean, she had so many great stories. I think the camera really does love your mom.
Yeah,
And she
I
played
had
such a
I had
big
multiple
role.
people. I had so many people hit me up and like, oh, when your mom was talking, like I started crying. I was just like, oh, she was playing, y'all. No, I love my mom. She's a sweet woman. She cares about me and my little brother more than anyone else in this world. We're her babies, as she calls us. So she's got tons of things to say. Some good, some bad. Maybe we can get her on. Y'all can interview her sometime. But she's a great lady. I go to everything. I probably share too much with her in my life. She has to tell me to stop talking sometimes. But yeah, pretty much everything she says is gold.
I mean, I thought it was so great because she's telling all these jokes about you, but when it came down to it, she's the one that wanted you to stick to it, because that was one question I had for you. I actually watched the whole documentary after it won because I'd seen clips of it, but you know, to think that you're the 12th man, you know, where is this going to end? I mean, I remember watching you in the Gator Bowl when you scored the touchdown and you were so happy. And at that point, did you think this could be the last time I ever play football? I mean, was that going through your head? Or it seems like after watching it, you thought that there was very much a real possibility that you could work towards getting yourself a job in the NFL.
For sure. I definitely treated that game like it was going to be my last game. But, you know, up to that point, you know, the NCAA allows you to talk with agents, you know, leading up to the season and kind of figuring out what's going to go on. After really, I had no thoughts whatsoever about playing in the NFL until really after like my fourth year, my redshirt junior season, I guess. After that, some coaches had approached me and like, hey, like you might have a shot. And then going to my senior year, that was kind of the approach I took, that this was the career path I was going to try and pursue. But at the end of the day, you know, it's still the NFL. It's the most competitive business in the world. So I just tried to do what I could. And after I scored the touchdown, they told me to go back in and do the last kickoff. And I was like, you know what? I think my last play of college football and possibly ever should be a touchdown. I knew I was going to train and get ready for the draft. I didn't know if I was going to get drafted or if I was going to play. I figured I'd probably get an invite to training camp, but even that's still a tough road to go down. So I had a little bit of knowledge about what was going on, but for the most part, it was just like ride it out and play it like it's my last play. So that's what, if that was my last play of football, I would have been able to live with that.
Well, I know when you were drafted, Bill O'Brien, I mean, that was one of the things that he really liked about you was your story, your perseverance. It seems very much like that's what they like to see as part of this Houston Texans locker room, guys that have sort of overcome adversity or just been the underdog and fought through it and really have a good work ethic. Have you ever shared this story with, I mean, do the guys in the locker room know the story? I know a lot of guys are not from Texas. Do they all know? I mean, that I know JJ knew because he tweeted you afterwards and said, from one fellow walk-on to another. But is that something that you've gotten to share with your teammates?
Probably too often.
Oh,
I like
good.
I like to talk a lot. So they've more or less heard about it 3, 4, 8 times. But I think some guys know, some guys don't. It is what it is. You know, at the end of the day, everyone has an amazing story to get where they're at. As much as you want to be unique, want to be special, everyone in the NFL is unique and special in their own way. So I think they all know that I was the 12th man. Coach OBrien lets them know sometimes that we've got the 12th man. But whether they know what that means or not, I'm not sure. But it was a great honor, and it made college better than I could have ever imagined it. Really, it was awesome.
Well, it's such a great story, and I think that you should tell Coach O'Brien to also refer to you as an Emmy award-winning.
Next time I'll let him know.
Next time, Cullen, you got to do
how
that.
he feels about me letting him know that I'm an Emmy award.
I'm sure he'll love that. I'm sure he would love to introduce you like that. I'm sure he would love nothing more than that. Well, okay, so what about, 2020, year 2 in the NFL? You're more comfortable now. You may be doing more things on offense. Obviously, you do a lot on special teams. What about for yourself? What are some goals or things that you can share with us that are things that you really want to get better at or that you're working on for yourself this year?
I mean, my goals are pretty simple. Help the team win. No one likes losing, and Obviously, we've started off a little bit bumpy here, but I'm just doing everything in my power to help this team win. Obviously, I want to be a leader and have as big of impact on the field as I can on special teams, and then any shot I get on offense to go out there and try and make plays and show that I can play offense as well. Really, my goals are just to do what's asked of me, to do my job, and help this team in any way possible. It's not, obviously I've got like my personal goals of what I want to achieve, but at the end of the day, it's a team sport, and there's 55 guys on a roster now, and it's about all working together towards one goal. So that's who I am. That's what I'll be for as long as I play in the NFL. Hopefully it's for a very long time, but it's really just help this team win in any way possible.
Yeah, like they said in the documentary, there's more chapters to be written in the story, hopefully. So
hopefully a lot.
Hopefully
many
it's a really thick book. But anyway, I just
exactly.
Congrats on the Emmy. You can see it. It's called Gilly. I believe it's on texags.com. And best of luck to you, Cullen, for the rest of the 2020 season. Always a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure as well.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.